this is sort of what I've boiled my sharpening system down to. So that's not sharpening, that's an iron. So this is a cheap eBay 400 and 1000 grit. I think they're more aggressive maybe than they're supposed to be for their number. But that's okay. Like, I can tell what they do. It's easy. Hand sharpening is slow, so you can adjust as necessary as you go. So that was cheap, under 20 bucks shipped. This was a 3000 and 1000 grit stone. Again, under 20 bucks, probably, like, I would say the two of these were about 30 bucks shipped, give or take. The guide, super handy. I'm not a super pro, so I like to have a little guidance like this. And this was under 10 bucks. If you're a beginner, I super recommend one of those. That gets your angle consistent so that you're not just making big round messes out of your blades. And then for the even more budget conscious stropping pad, stropping board, I don't know what you would call this. It's literally just a scrap of 1x4 that I found in the garage somewhere. Some of this rubber nubby shelf stuff, and two chunks of a thrift store leather belt, rough side up, just double-sided tape down with some Dollarama double sticky tape stuff. And I think the leather itself would strop, but I've been using one of these green polish compound sticks from Princess Auto. So just give her kind of a little blitz of this stuff once in a while. And that was pretty cheap. I think that was under 10 bucks too. So yeah, maybe it's a lot all at once. If you had to do this, you can make your own gauge. I showed in another video, with your own sharpening gauge out of scrap. So you can do that basically for free, but this is nicer. This is nearly free, especially if you have an old belt around. And if you had to do one of this or this, probably the stone, something like a 400 and 1000 or 1000 and a 3000 like this. And that'll let you shape. I like the 400 on this because it's aggressive and you can quickly get the bevel shape in, or quickly correct chips in a blade or whatever. But the 1000 grit on this would work pretty good, and you can go back to sandpaper on a flat board if you need to, using this as well. But the stropping board is really, it's just, like I said, it's just about free, and you can you just go like this till your arms fall off, and then you have shiny, slippery metal. And that's sort of my, I have to do this side too. That's sort of my sharpening system for cheap. So we're talking about 30 bucks, say 40 bucks. 40 bucks there, I would say. Miscellaneous, if you had to buy a belt and tape, 45 bucks. Under 50 bucks for the sharpening system. And you know, keep your eye out for a good deal on planes. Save a little money buying used antique planes. And put a little money into your sharpening. And that's my pro tip from an amateur who doesn't know what he's talking about. Happy shavings. One last thing on sharpening there, folks. I've screwed this little plane stop into my bench. So I use it for planing things, of course, for testing planes and whatever. And we already talked about this thing, the little rig for sharpening. On my plane stop, I marked the 40 and 50 millimeter lengths that are the common numbers here. You could do this anyway on your bench or whatever, but this just gives you a great little reference point. Say, okay, I know that chisels need 40 mil. That's great. Now I can sharpen. Plane irons 50 mil. So that's something. If you haven't thought of that, highly recommend. Cheers.